What can you do with your hands, with your own energy, get your body moving and take care of yourself?
This is Proof Text, exploring scripture in light of language, culture, and theology. Welcome and enjoy.
Hello, and welcome you back to Sabbatical Insider with Frederick J. Long. And I have too many degrees. I spent too much time in school, but I'm out of school now and I'm a teacher. And I have the opportunity to apply for sabbaticals every 3.5 years. You got to apply like 18 months in advance, and it has to be approved by the school, my colleagues, then it has to go to the board. And anyway, I'm on sabbatical right now. And so Sabbatical Insider is my journey of being on sabbaticals. On this sabbatical, the ups and downs, the ins and outs, the highs and the lows. And right now, I flew back to Kentucky. So in this episode, I'm going to talk about my transition back to Kentucky. I was in Arizona helping taking care of my mom. A real joy to do that. And I've transitioned back to Kentucky and I'm getting caught up on my sleep. It was, days have been lost. I'm not able to work on my research. I'm just kind of getting reoriented back to life here. And in this episode, I'm going to talk about hard skills because that's something that I've been doing. My wife is a wonderful cook and baker. And anyway, I'm going to talk about Christina a little bit, and she instructs and teaches people. So in this episode, I'll talk about some hard skills. And I'm on our cabin's deck overlooking our little forest. And you can see down below that trees are being cut. And this is a hard skill that I know how to do, is cut trees. And we're actually going to plant a vineyard. Really, it's going to be like berries and stuff like that. But last year, I cleared out of this area down there. There was like 12-foot tall brambles, and it took almost all day. Just a huge pile of brambles. A lot of work to clear that out. And now I don't want that to come back. So I'm going to need some help, but I'm cutting down trees to make room for a fence so that then we can terrace down below there and plant some vines, plant some fruit, berries and stuff like that. And the thing is, we need to fence things in because the goats always get in. They'll break down fences. I mean, it's amazing. They're trapeze artists. They climb over stuff. Fences aren't a problem for them if they're not done properly. So I'm gonna build a fence to keep the animals out. And particularly if there's some grapevines in there. Everything loves grapevines. In fact, humans eat grape leaves. So anyway, that's been a little bit of work. And let me just tell you that you got to be careful cutting down things. I actually worked for a tree service guy. His name is Jim Urinak in Milwaukee. And his phone number was, area code Tree Man. He was a tree guy, and he knew how to do things. And so I was a groundsman, which meant I was looking for safety issues. He said if any time I saw something that was sketchy, I needed to call that out. And I also just pulled a lot of brush. I pulled a lot of brush into the chipper machine. You needed earplugs for sure. These branches, when they go into that machine, they spin around. So you really have to have your wits about you doing this kind of work. And Jim told me stories of people getting hurt, killed from taking down trees the wrong way. And when these trees are even partly down, there could be a lot of tension in the stem. And if you make the wrong cut, that thing can come flying up. I mean, trees twist and they fall weird directions. I've been doing some falling, and it's always kind of surprised me where the stem comes down. And I'm careful. And so I'm just saying, you can't just jump into this kind of stuff. Electric lines, people get fried from that. So even though I'm doing this work, I'm also had some training, and you got to be careful. Got to be very careful. I'm excited to see that pile of wood there. You can see, there it is. Oh, wait, I got to point it the right way. I bought that there's some mills around here. I bought that stack of wood. I'm going to use that to build the fence to keep the goats and the animals out. So I'm going to use those tree stems as posts. Anyway, I'll show you maybe some of the progress because that's something that I enjoy doing. I enjoy being physical getting out. Sometimes it's not easy work at all. I get tired out. Anyway, hard skills. What hard skills are you working on? You know, our food industry is awful in the United States. We're fed food that is so bad for you, that is full of corn syrup, it's full of processed things. There's certain breads that I hardly even buy and eat breads that I buy from the store, particularly the kind that I grew up with, Wonder Bread and other kinds of whole wheat bread. I eat that and I start bloating. I have gas issues. And so I don't know if it's because of the sugar content or all the preservatives. But when I eat Christina's home baked bread, I don't have those issues. And when I bought even store bread, that's sourdough bread that's baked differently, I didn't have those issues. So I just wonder if we just need to take better care of ourselves and how we eat, what we're eating. Eating out is less and less satisfying. Let's just face it. It's less and less satisfying. It's expensive as heck. It's worth it just to get a break, but you have to be real careful and selective where you eat. And then plus it's very expensive. So anyway, what hard skills are you working on? What are you good at? What can you do with your hands, with your own energy? Get your body moving and take care of yourself. Eat well, exercise well, go walking. It's good for your body to get out and move around and that kind of stuff. And I'm going to share some pictures of some of the things that Christina does, some of her bread and some of the meals that she's made. And I just want to offer to people that if you want to learn how to make bread, and I tell you, it takes some time. There's some planning, but it's very doable. If you want to learn how to make bread, Christina, I just talked to her. She is willing to do a Zoom class, and there may be a minimum fee, $20, $30, I don't know, or donations basis. She's willing to do that. You can email glossahouse.com@gmail.com. Put in the subject heading Christina. It's spelled with a K, K-R. She will do a bread class. I mean, maybe there'll be more than one meaning. If you want to learn how to make your own bread, she will get you going on that. It's amazing what she does. Same day bread, let it rise overnight bread. If you want German lessons, conversational German lessons, also put that in the tagline, glossahouse@gmail.com. And then lastly, she also does singing. Voice lessons. She is amazing with voice lessons. So if you want to try a voice lesson, and I tell you, you get your money's worth with her, and she goes into the body mechanics and the vocal mechanics, and I get to hear her and I hear how she does these lessons. If this is something, if you have a child that also wants some voice lessons, she's able to do that over Zoom. She is a highly sought after choir director. Like whenever she goes back to Germany, she gets calls to fill in, to conduct and lead choirs. She doesn't promote herself. So I'm doing it for her, but I've asked her permission. So if any of those areas are interesting to you for hard skills, German, conversation, bread making, and vocal lessons, email glossahouse@gmail.com and put Christina in there and just ask what it is. She'll set up a time. If you could also indicate what times you might be available for a bread class. Anyway, I'm very excited because she needs to offer that for the seminary community. She's been working with some seminary people how to make breads and shares ideas and stuff like that. So hard skills. Another hard skill that I like, obviously, is fishing. I went fishing last night. The white bass had pushed in and then they've pulled out. It has to be warm enough. So last weekend it was warm here in Kentucky. But I mean, when I arrived, I flew into Nashville, it was below freezing. So to go from 90-degree weather to 30-degree weather, and actually my body handled it pretty well, better than I thought. I do have a crack on my lip, which is kind of weird that I didn't get that earlier from just how dry it was in Arizona. But the last day I just developed that. But this weekend, the white bass will be biting in Kentucky. It's going to get up to 80. And so anyway, I'll be catching lots of fish. I'll maybe send some pictures or make some videos of me walking around in the Salt River, Taylorsville Lake, Dix River, DIX, leading into Harrington, and Nolan River Lake system. So yeah, I mean, I suppose if any one of you wants to learn some basics of fishing, I will meet with you. I will do that with Zoom. I can teach you basic knots, basic kinds of lures. I mean, whatever questions you might have. I've taken notes for years in terms of how to do things. Anyway, at the farm here, talking about hard skills. So I clean the fish. I give a lot away. I'm a harvester. I like to take my limits, and when I can, I give a lot away for students to a lot of them are students, but friends also and family to my kids so they can make their own fish. But with the carcasses, we're kind of excited to make fish fertilizer. And it stinks to high heaven, honestly. We made some in Wilmore. There's a bin, a little plastic lid on it. But man, when that gets opened up, but that stuff is really good fertilizer. So fertilizer is one of those things with the gas prices, with this war, which is terrible that we're pursuing this to such a high degree. I don't, that's a whole nother topic. But anyway, prices of fertilizer is going to go up. And so, yeah, you can utilize the whole fish, not just the meat. Well, that's about it for this episode. I am this afternoon needing to look at paper proposals for the inductive study of scripture session of the Institute for Biblical Research meetings next November. And it looks like our committee wants me to present paper on the interpretation of Matthew. I think it's going to be Matthew 5:17, the meaning of these commandments, 5:19, these commandments, or my analysis of Psalm 1. Either one is fine by me. But anyway, so that's some academic work I need to do later this afternoon. And then we're driving back to Wilmore today. So from the farm to Wilmore. And then I'm really excited to start working on a New Testament introduction, and I'll talk about that development as it continues. Well, anyway, thanks for listening and watching, and I hope you found this helpful, and see you next time. Take care. Well, I wanted to just show you some pictures, and so I had to record that separately. But yeah, this is outside the front of what's called the Humble House here at the farm, and I'm going to be on the front steps. But I want to share with you some pictures of some things about hard skills in terms of life on the farm. So I'm going to screen share. You can hear the wind chimes in the background. So yeah, I'm going to screen share here. So obviously there I am fishing. This is on Taylorsville Lake, the Salt River. So I'm going to be hitting that here very soon. The white bass are moving in. That's actually a hybrid bass you can recognize by the jaggedy stripes and the full stripes going all the way to the tail. But yeah, it's the time of year where I catch hundreds of white bass and clean them, eat them, turn them into fish fertilizer, the remains, or fertilize the gardens. Now these are some bottle lambs that we had to feed. Christina came out with 4 bottles, and 2 of them really don't need the bottles, but they're so used to being fed that way, so they just came running right up to her. I actually had to help her because they're so greedy for milk, and once they're used to it, it's a mixture of like milk formula and egg and stuff like that, and they are not suffering. They're growing fast. Here's some goat babies. They're just really cute. The farm now has 7 goat babies, I think. Yeah, 2, 1. The last goat had triplets. So they're just so cute with their ears. This is a sheep, which was surprisingly light. This is a little lamb that, and I thought, I don't know if I've ever held one of these lambs, but they're puffier, puffy and lighter than you would think. But yeah, that was kind of fun to hold that lamb. Here's the marigold. Look at her udders too, and her little calf, which we don't have a name for her, maybe elderberry or something like that, but marigold. And this little calf is really, really cute. And from marigold's milk, the Hayes made butter. That is homemade cow butter, and let me tell you, it is delicious. And so here's about my backyard project, talking about hard skills. Cutting down this trees to make room for a garden space, and this is called holding wood, this little bit of wood that holds a trunk together, and sometimes it's amazing what little can be there, and it's standing upright. And this is where you have to get wedges in there and make sure you know what you're doing, because can be very dangerous, the holding wood, and it can snap and all kinds of stuff. But I like that picture. So yeah, that's my summer project, is trying to get that landscaped and ready for a garden. We cut a lot of firewood. Actually, this is from yesterday. Christina is putting an end cap, a proper end cap on the firewood stack, and this stuff needs to dry. So anyway, yeah, a lot of work. Your hands get beat up. I always forget to put gloves on. She's smart, put gloves on. Mine get beat up. But this is some of the love that we get to experience making things ourselves. I'm kind of now a coffee snob. I love espressos. That one came out as a heart or a butt, depending on how you view that. But I made this countertop. This was a tabletop table that I then sanded down, and now it's our kitchen countertop in the cabin. And these bags are used to help the bread rise. These are lemons in the background for bread. But yeah, this is Christina's workspace. So she put these buns together, started them last night, then they rose today. And so she is available. If you want to learn how to bake bread, reach out to us. If you want to have vocal lessons, she's excellent. And if you want to work on conversational German, again, she's excellent. I've seen her in action. Here's the finished product of these buns. Delicious. Had them for lunch. This is her conducting one of her choirs in the Bahnhof in Germany. The big temple, Bahnhof. It's a raisin bomber, they called them. I'd love to see her conduct. This is a greenhouse in the garden space. Actually, it's in the background. I don't know if you can see it in the recording. There's the cows over there, but yeah, this grows vegetables all winter long. I mean, that's a hard skill, is learning how to grow vegetables. And this is inside the humble house, cooktop stove. It's really more of an Amish style, but it produces a lot of heat. It's a straw bale house. Yes, made out of straw bales. It's insulated. This is venison that Hank made, and vegetables. Some of these are considered weeds. Now you got to be careful what you eat. We gather mushrooms around here too. I should have showed you pictures of mushrooms. But mushrooms, people die every year from eating the wrong mushrooms. As my mother-in-law says, you can eat every mushroom, but some of them only once. So you don't want to eat the kind that you eat only once and then die. But eating homemade food, homegrown, locally grown food, I mean, this is just really, really good for you. But of course, another hard skill when you're cooking, baking a lot, and canning a lot is a lot of dishes. Yeah. So anyway, I hope you enjoyed some of these pictures. I just want to show you some things on hard skills in Kentucky.
Interested in growing your ancient language skills but not sure where to start? GlossaHouse can help. From illustrated readers and short stories to lexicons and grammars, GlossaHouse offers a variety of resources for beginning, intermediate, and experienced ancient language learners. Head to glossahouse.com today. GlossaHouse, language resources for the global community.